Konnichiwa minasan. Hey friends, how are you? Welcome to Saral Japani YouTube channel, and this is the playlist called Japanese Extra Shots. In Japanese Extra Shots today, we have a very interesting topic, the Japanese Ramayana. Yes, there is Ramayana in Japan, and in Japan, Rama is referred to as Tamawaka, Seeta as Himegini, and Ravana as baramon. Japan has been highly influenced by stories of Ramayana, and they have different versions of such stories, not as Ramayana, but in their own local culture. But the stories revolve around the same Ramayana. So, in this video, we are going to look at all those versions of Ramayana influenced stories prevalent in Japan since ancient time. The greatest and the most popular Indian epic of all time, the Ramayana, has crossed all borders and reached many countries over centuries. The epic revolves around the story of Lord Rama. Its most important moral influence was the importance of virtue in the life of a citizen and in the ideals of the formation of a state. The earliest stage of the text is estimated to be from the 7th to 4th centuries BC and later stages extending up to the 3rd century CE. Although original date of composition is still unknown, it is one of the largest ancient epics in world literature. Over 300 Ramayana versions are known to exist globally, especially in Southeast Asia, when around the 12th and 13th centuries, this region received and imbibed many of the cultural traits, along with goods and services traveling from the Indian shores. In Japan, Ramayana is popularly referred to as Ramayana or Ramayan show. Stories of Ramayana entered the imagination of Japan through the several business and cultural exchanges with India centuries ago. The imagery of Rama still revolves around that of a family man, destructor of evil, and a king who cares and loves his subjects. A scholar named Bharadwaj from the South Indian state of Kanchipuram reached Japan in 736 AD. He enriched Japan by bringing Sanskrit, Dharma, philosophy, and Indian classical dance forms into the Japanese culture. Japan has many stories that are closer in plot to the epic Ramayana itself, although the battles are greatly reduced in number or even eliminated in certain cases. The most important and noticeable Japanese versions of Ramayana were written during the 10th century as Sambo Ekotoba, 12th century as Hobutsushu, and 16th century as Bontenkoku. Bugaku and Gagaku are two dance styles dating back to the 8th to 12th centuries that are based on Indian classical dances and used for displaying Japanese Ramayana. Friends, now let us look into these three important Japanese adaptations of Ramayana: Sambo Ekotoba, Hobut, Hobutsushu, and Bontenkoku. We begin with Sambo Ekotoba. Sambo Ekotoba is a Japanese derivation of Ramayana preserved in a collection of tales, notes on the pictures of the three jewels. This is the literal meaning of the word Sambo Ekotoba, and this was written by Minamoto no Tamenori in the 10th century. Sambo Ekotoba, the book was originally intended to serve as a caption story for paintings, as the author himself says in the introduction that he made this to console a princess by explaining the meaning of some picture scrolls. Unfortunately, the picture scroll itself has been lost, and only these caption stories are preserved for us to read. Hobutsushu. Setsuba is a Japanese literary genre. It consists of myths, legends, folktales, and anecdotes. The full length stories are referred to as monogatari. Setsuba, meaning spoken story, is believed to have been passed down in the form of narrations, based foremost on oral tradition and existed primarily as folk tales or in other non written forms before being recorded and committed to text. The stories have in common brevity, an uncomplicated plot unfolded in plain, direct language, character delineation through dialogue and action rather than through description and psychological analysis, and a predilection for amusing, startling, dramatic, or marvelous subject matter. The Hobutsushu, meaning collection of treasures or jewels, is a Japanese anthology of Setsuba stories compiled by the famous monk Taira no Yasuyori in 1179 AD, that is almost 845 years ago from now. The stories are in the form of a series of discussions between a Zen monk referring to the Mahayana Buddhism and an audience and are intended to guide the reader towards Satori, a Japanese Buddhist term for awakening, enlightenment, comprehension, and understanding. Among the subjects covered in Hobutsushu are the stories of Lord Rama derived from Indian and Chinese sources. Although the stories have been in verbal circulation from as early as the 8th century, the compilation as a written treasure was done only in the 12th century. It is believed that the stories of Ramayana were told to the Japanese folks by the Indian and Chinese immigrants during the 8th century and had become well-known folktales among them by the 12th century in Hobutsushu. And now we discuss the most important one, Bontenkoku. The story of Bontenkoku, or the realm of Brahma, probably dates to the 16th century and is one of the most elaborate of Japanese fairy tales. Although the overall story may not be the same as the epic Ramayana, there is striking resemblance. Here, Tamagawa, here Tamawaka, the prince, is portrayed as a flute player who rescues Himegini, his wife, who was being held captive by the demon king Baramon. Hence, Tamawaka is Ram, Himegini is Sita, and Baramon is Ravan. Tamawaka, Himegini, and Baramon have striking resemblances to the characters of Rama, Sita, and Ravana of Ramayana, and most literary scholars believe in the influence of Ramayana on Bontenkoku. Interestingly, there was no battle between Tamawaka and Baramon to free Himegini. Instead, Tamawaka hypnotized the guards of Baramon by playing his flute and saved Himegini from the clutches of Baramon. When the guards came to their senses and saw that Himegini was gone, they beat signal drums throughout all the realms of the devils. The devil king Baramon set out on his chariot to capture Tamawaka and Himegini. He would have surely caught them and wreaked his fury on them if the heavenly birds had not appeared upon the scene and driven the devils down to the bottom of the subterranean world. Tamawaka and Himegini were saved and came safely to their home. In Hindu mythology, Rama and Sita are the avatars of Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi, who were born on earth as humans to serve a purpose for the society. In Bontenkoku, Tamawaka and Himegini are the god and the goddess enshrined at Amano Hashidate, and that they protect mankind from the malice of the devils. So now we look at Ramayana in modern Japan. Ramayana, The Legend of Prince Rama is a 1992 animated film co-produced by Japan and India, produced and directed by Yogo Sako. The film was directed by Koichi Sasaki and Ram Mohan, with music composed by the famous Indian Bollywood composer Vanraj Bhatia. It was a huge hit among all generations of Japanese population. Many Japanese had started reading the full epic of Ramayana only after watching this film. So, friends, that's all for today. I hope you have got much information about Ramayana in Japan from this video. If you liked this video, do subscribe this channel so that in future whenever we upload a new video, you get instant notification and you can watch the video. Till then, thanks for watching. Arigato gozaimasu. Matai masho.